Hey guys, so we're looking at a ride through on the paper two functional skills. So for this one, we have £8. So time and a half would be that on your calculator. So if you type that in, you get 8.32 times 1 1/3. We get this £11.09. So Adam works for 6 hours. So we multiply that by 6, whereby he earns £66.56. Might have got a slight variation if we rounded this to £11.09, which is his actual hourly rate. We times that by 6, we will get £66.54. Yeah, either answer is correct, but the second one is actually more correct. Now, number 2, we're given the volume of the pyramid, so we simply just have to sub in the numbers. So the volume equals 1/3 times the area of the base, which is 8.5 times 8.5, times by the height. You whack that in the calculator. 1/3, and that gives us 303.45 centimeters cubed. Next one. Rana donated to 4 charities last year. She gave 175 to each one. This year she wants to donate the same amount between 6 charities. How much will they receive each? So 4 times 175 is 700. 700 divided by 6 is £116 and 0.6 recurring. So that would be like this. Yeah, or you could put £116.66. Either would be fine. Use reverse calculations to check your answer. So I would do my answer and times it by 6. And this way I would get slightly more than 700. Or we could have done this one. And we get something slightly less than 700. Okay. So this one, we need to identify the triangle here. We see that that is a right angle triangle. So it tells us that we have an equilateral triangle here. So we know that is 60 degrees. Therefore, x must be 180 minus 90 minus 60, which is 30. And that is pitch 7. Yeah, so the pitch is the angle at which you're pitching the roof. And this is sort of a roofing table. Those of you that might have helped a parent with a shed might have a bit more experience with it. So that would indicate that answer there. Question 5, somebody wants to work out the cost of tiles needed to replace his roof. 4 faces, they're all triangles, and the triangles are like this. So we've got 4 times the area of a triangle. And that is 4 times base times height divided by 2. Do that in the calculator. So 7.6 times 4.8 divided by 2 times that by 4. And that is 72.96 meters squared. So we divide that by 13.8 to see how many packs we need. So that's 5.28 packs, which is 6 packs of tiles, because obviously 5 packs isn't enough. And then 6 times this, each pack costs 700 quid pretty much. So 716.10 times 6. So the roof is going to cost £4,296.60. Next one. The original price, that's the sale price. Yes, so how much is the saving? We have to subtract these. So £30.99 minus 16 is £14.99. That's the saving. 46% of the original is the same as doing that on the calculator. And that will give us 14.2554. Um, is the sale price a saving of 46%? Well, actually, it's more than 46%, isn't it? Yeah. So the original is this, that's the sale price. So you just need a valid reason now. So you might say, no, it is even better. Or you could put yes, but it is more. But it is a better saving. How else might we've done that? We could have done 16 divided by 30.99 times 100. But that wouldn't really be that useful. Yeah, that'll be it. Next one. Okay, so this is important. We have a scale here. So we have to divide all of these by 40. So 34 divided by 40 would be 8.5. This will be 4. And 220 divided by 40 will be 5.5. And that's then what we're going to draw on the grid. So we have a height of 4. We have a width of 8.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. And then we have a top of 5.5. And then that goes down there. Now use the part B. Use your answer part A to work out the actual length of the line AD. Well, it's saying that we can measure this and then multiply the answer by 40 to get it into meters. That said, I think you're all able to probably use Pythagoras to do it. Yeah, so if we use Pythagoras, we can figure out the missing length. So that must be 120. That is 160. So we can do this. And we get 200. There you go. Yeah, so you can use Pythagoras, or we could have measured our length and times it by 40. All right, this one. Land area is this. And we're told the conversion here. So 93,400 miles. We would have to times by 2.6, get it into kilometers squared. That would give us times our 2.6. And that gives us 242,840, which if we fill that in there, that is kilometers squared, but that's in 1,000 kilometers. So we divide the answer by 1,000, so we could have 242.8 or 240 or 243. Yeah, so it says that he's rounding to the nearest 10,000, and that's why the final answer we select is 240. Population in 2011 was 56.1. We need to increase it by 19.6%. So we've got 56.1 times 1.196. That gives us 67.1. So draw a suitable graph. We're just going to plot these values on the graph below. The 368, 3, 130, 300. Just writing these down. So 316.83. So that is somewhere like this. We've got 130 and 11. We've got 58 and 300. I'm not doing it with that much care. 310 and 39. 510 and 47. 640 and 67. 240 and 19. The trend is kind of like this. Yeah, so what we would say is as land area increases, generally speaking, population also increases. Yeah, and that's what we would want for all the marks. This one, we're given a formula. We're told what P is. We're told what M is. So we type that into the calculator. 143.96 over 2.59 times 6.593. That's 8.43 as a population density. So it's saying that Canada's population density is this. So therefore, Russia has greater population density. And Magda is correct. Work out these fractions. So we've got 27 over 8 minus 9 over 8, which is 15 over 8, which is 1 and 7/8. Yeah. 24, why have I done that? It's meant to be 27, which means that is an 18. And that is 2 and 2/8, 2 1/4. Yeah. So they want us to do an estimate. Estimations, check your answer. 3 minus 1 is 2. Yeah, so that's why we roughly knew our answer was correct by getting 2 and 1/4. And the last, I'm not sure if it's the last one. It's almost the last one. So this one, we're given this ratio, tall to medium to short, 9, 8, 7. Heights of the tall, medium, short mount pieces are those, yeah? So we know that the tall pieces are 1.44. Um, and we need to find how many meters in total we need. So we know that we have two lots of these plus two lots of these, and then we have five medium and six short. So if we do 9 divided by 1.44, we get 6.25. So if we divide 8 by 6.25, we get 1.28. And if we divide 7 by 6.25, we get 1.12. So the short ones we had 6 of, the medium ones we have 5 of, and that's all the metal that we need for the fence. And then we just whack that in the calculator and see what we have. So we have that gives us 19.76 meters. So how many meters of metal in total does Emilio need to make the fence? 19.76 meters. Doesn't ask us to the nearest meter. Yes, so he'll probably buy 20 meters of fence. Let's fill this table in. So that must be 13. That adds up to 32. 23 and 32 is 55. So that must be 25, which means that's 22. 22, 32, 46. So that's completed the table. And it asks us, what is the probability that the customer bought an all-inclusive holiday for a couple? 18 out of 60, which is 18 out of the total. Yeah. That's that one. Travel agent says if the couples and families have bought holidays, the couples were more likely to have all-inclusive. Is the travel agent correct? Um, so let's have a look at this one. Who bought all-inclusive? Couples bought 18 out of 60 versus 14 out of 60. So it said out of those that bought all-inclusive, couples are more likely to have done so. So we'd agree, yes, the proportion, this is true. Couples was 18 out of 60, which is greater than 14 out of 60. There you go. Hope that was useful. See you later.